Hey, what's up? Stage back with another video. Today I want to talk about keybinds. Actually, keybinds are really important, and I think I figured the best keybinds out for everybody. I've been using these keybinds for like the past, I don't know, for 6 years or so, even longer. I cannot even remember. And I actually went to a thought process of developing these keybinds basically. And even as a player that is like, I'm mostly casual these days. I don't have a lot of time for the game, and I also don't want to take the time for the game. I'm working full time. I'm traveling a lot throughout the year, so and I can still keep up on the highest ratings in PvP. And I also got the 1% in Mythic Plus. I'm not the best player, but just to give you some examples on why you should take any advice from me. But it's of course up to you. I will just give you some inspiration. So first up. We're gonna talk over the basic keybinds, which is 1 to 4. Then we have Q, E, R, T, F, G, X, C. These are the best available keybinds on your keyboard, and those should be your main keybinds. And we can also modify them, so it just makes sense for your brain. So you have Shift 1 to Shift 4, SQ to SFE, and I've been using some extra keybinds here. I'm using a Razer Naga, or I'm actually using a SteelSeries WoW edition now with 12 buttons. So these are the 3 buttons on the side. But you can also, if you don't have a MMO mouse like me, you can also do Shift G, Shift X, and Shift C here. But that's it for like the general idea of these keybinds. I think they're very good. I've played multiple classes, and I can just hop onto a new class and just drag out the keybinds. So then we have some extra more keybinds, like I said down here. I've been hitting them, so you can see all of these are basically my binds on the Razer Naga. Like you have these 12 buttons, so from top to bottom. Boom, from top to bottom, these three, and they are really good for arena macros. Let's say arena 1 to 3, speed, arena 1 to 3, in cap, and party 1 to dispel, etc. So that's what I'm using for. Then I also have shift modifier for the same buttons, and as you can see, I have my shift X and shift C, which are these buttons down here. And then I also have some extra keybinds that you need for like toys, for mounts and whatnot. You can choose what you want. So you have control 1 to 4, control Q to X again. And then you also have the stop cast button on 5. So if you're playing a healer or a caster, you might need to fake cast. And 5 is actually really good, because when you have your healing keybinds on 1 to 4, you can cast and then you can just press 5 and then stop the cast basically. That's why I like to have it on 5. That's why 5 is still a good keybind. That's why I don't have it on here, right? Because I have it as stop cast macro. If you don't need it, you can use it for something else, of course. Then you also have the little button that is left to Y. Y is actually not a good keybind, but this button, left to Y, is actually really good. In American keyboards, you don't have this one, so you can ignore it. But if you have a German or a Europe one, go ahead and also use it. Y is a really bad button, like I said, so you don't want to use it. It's too uncomfortable to press. I mean, you can do it, but I just don't like it. Then you have V, and V is also actually a really good button. I like to use it for interrupts in my case. And you have B, which is also a good button. I like to use it for a port and for utility cooldowns. And then finally up, you have mouse wheel up and mouse wheel down. I use these to target my party members. I use it for Mythic Plus too sometimes, but usually in Mythic Plus I use the mouse overcast. So if you just see the frames, you can just mouse over. It's faster for Mythic Plus, I would say. In Arena it's not that good, but for Mythic Plus it's way better. So let's talk about how you should keybind your abilities. So if you're playing caster or healer, just put down your healing spells or caster spells on 1 to 4, like I said with the stop cast button. And your damage abilities, if you're playing melee or on a healer, you put it to Q, E, R. And then you also have T, F, G. So F is like my mostly used keybind for an AoE ability that you can press regularly on all classes. T is something that for utility, for example, I have it here on Detox or for Dispel, but I also have, like I said, 1 to 3 Dispel for my party members, or just press this button. This is like no, sorry, this is a Dispel for me, but if I press Shift modifier, this mouse button, it also is the same button as this one, same spell. Then you have G. G is a good ability for a CD because G is easily to reach and not that easily to mispress. I mean, sometimes I mispress. You can mispress cooldowns, but G is generally a nice button for like a cooldown, like a sack or maybe a cocoon or whatever. Or like a shaman ability like Tide Totem. Then you have Shift 1, 2, 4. So I like to use utility on S2 and 3 like Stun and Cloud. Shift 1 is a big cooldown, and Shift 4 is something that modifies usually your healing spells or your damage abilities, right? So just gotta make sense. And Shift Q to Shift R are just more cooldowns and more utility buttons like it depends on what class you're playing, but you can put more cooldowns on it because they're also easily reachable. Shift T is something that is not easily to reach. It's kind of hard. It's not that hard, but it's not that easy to access. So this is something that you use occasionally, like Touch of Death. It only comes up like when every 3 minutes. It's a big CD, basically, and you don't even use it that much. Then you have Shift F. Shift F is a really good button. I don't use it currently that much. I just show... I'm using like a healing ability here, but I actually don't need it. I'm just showing with a mouse over macro, or not with a mouse over macro, with a tooltip macro, that it's just showing my Tiger Slash CD, but this is completely up to you on how you want to use it. And then I'm using the mouse buttons, like I said. So I have the most left under one for my wall, the one above is my racial, and the last one is my trinket. So that's generally how I use these buttons. And honestly, that's it. I want to keep it short and simple for this guide. I hope this really helps some people out because it actually did for me. And I see you in the next one. Take care and yeah, have fun.